right, guys, what is good? Your boy Cole back with another video. I know I did a settings video pretty recently. I'm pretty sure, like a month or two ago. And back when I was doing those settings videos, like the last like 2 or 3 I've done, I haven't changed any of my binds. People just want to know the updated settings, so they're like, make a new settings video, make a new settings video, make a new settings video. But I've had the same binds for a long time, like probably like almost a year, about a year now. I've had them for a long time, so most of my settings videos don't really change much, but it's just an update and a refresher. This video I thought I'd make because you guys have been asking for my settings now, and I still get a lot of exclamation point binds, exclamation point settings commands in my chat. I'm gonna go through it in detail like I always do. Why not? And this time I haven't changed much with my settings, but I have changed 2 of my binds that are really big, and I'll explain my reasoning for it and everything. Done good? Let's get into the video. Let's go. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Why not? I'm gonna go to the lobby. I don't need to be, no, I'm not going to. I'm gonna stay here. Why not? All right, settings video. I'm gonna scroll through them. I've already gone into detail on a lot of these settings, but I'll do it again. Why not? Triton up 8, Triton up 10 hurts my eyes. Triton up 8 actually hurts my eyes, but I leave it there anyway because Triton up performance mode is supposed to be better for seeing in storm. I still use performance mode because it just like makes my game feel way better. My PC is like $3,000 and my game still feels horrible when I'm not on performance mode. Some people are using the mobile builds. I do not use the mobile builds. I use the it's meshes or whatever. Where is that? Is that even a thing? Mesh is high. I don't play on low meshes. 96 3D res. I don't know why the person who tweaked my PC put it there, and it's been there forever. You know, brightness it's 1920 by 1080. I play full screen, of course. 240 frames capped. This is all basic stuff, really nothing crazy here, like at all. You really need to know anything here, I'd be surprised. I like showing my FPS, motion blur off, of course. The performance one, you know what I mean? Performance was great. Next setting, and East, of course, English. I'm just gonna scroll. I'm gonna go through them and talk you through them because I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people do lazy settings videos. I don't do lazy settings videos. I know I've talked to these before. This might be the last time I do like a video of this in detail because I have the same settings. I still have auto open doors on. Should probably turn that off. Sprint cancels reloading could be good, but I have it off. Hold the swap pickup on. I think that's great. I think that's a really good thing. People don't use it still, and I don't know why. If you don't use it, turn it on, learn to use it. You're gonna love it. I promise. Auto pickup weapons I have off. I used to have it on. I hate that. This stuff's pretty basic. I use edit on release off. I use double edit bind on controller, which I'll get into in a minute, which I have in my other settings videos, but I'll get into. I disabled pre-edit option because I don't like it anymore. I know I used it in the last trio season, but it definitely makes you, if you have like bad ping, even if you have good ping, you pre-edit sometimes by accident, it can cost you, so we don't use that anymore. All basic stuff. I think you can copy this if you want. There's really nothing here that's anything too crazy. 75 HUD scale, it's the only thing that's really a big deal. My sense has not changed at all. To build and edit could change, mess around with it soon, but I've been hanging out. I just like keeping on the same thing, stay consistent. Some people are big changers, some people aren't. One thing that I tell people all the time, which I've been preaching on my stream pretty recently, like pretty heavily recently, is that there's 2 types of players, and there's one that stays on the same sense forever, and they have their on days, they have their off days. They're great, but they know that staying on the same sense will keep them consistent, and you know, we'll build muscle memory on that sensitivity over time. And the other type of player, which is not a bad thing, I think people think it's a bad thing, are the sensitivity crisis players. Talked about this on stream a lot pretty recently. Sensitivity crisis players are the players that they miss a shot, they're changing their sense, they're tweeting their new sense, they're telling you about all they talk about is their sensitivity because they're always having a crisis. Sometimes I thought that was a bad thing, and I used to think it was a bad thing, but learning and meeting these people and knowing some of these people who have sensitivity crises end up being just some of the best aimers in the game. You'll fight them when they are hot and they are just insane. Even when they're not doing too well, they're still very good. Like, they have these lapses where they just will miss 2 shots in a row and they'll be like, oh my god, I suck, I need to change my sense. So they change their sense a little bit, they bump it up, you know, 40 41 41, they go down a little bit, build and edit up 40 2.1 2.1, and they start hitting shots and they're like, oh my god, I'm on the god sense. So the god sense players too, the same type of people. I'm sure you guys know at least one person who has this issue, because it is an issue. But this is something basic. I didn't even think I was going to talk about this in this video, but I will real quick. I play 42-42 horizontal look and vertical. 2.0 2.0. Of course, this doesn't matter. Edit hold time. I have instant edit. Hold time does not mean anything. ADS, I still use 1010. I mean, it's literally the same as it was before. I still use this look dampening time. I don't know if it does anything. I'm just keeping it on because I'm used to it now. Might end up taking it off, messing with it like soon, but like as of right now, I'm good. So I was on 10.6 in my last video. If you guys noticed that, I was on 10.6 and now I'm on 10.8 because my current, actually, I might have been on, yeah, I was probably on 10.6. I probably used this controller. This Scuf controller I was recently sent me just broke, and my left paddle can no longer jump, and it's a really stiff controller, so I play on 6 dead zone. This controller, which was my old one, which I stopped using for dead zone reasons, I was on 6 dead zone and it was so stick drifty. I mean, it was the worst. It literally just had so much stick drifts, but I had to go back to it because I don't have a fully functioning controller at the moment, but I will very soon again. So I upped my dead zone a little bit to counteract the stick drift in my right stick because it was crazy. I mean, it wobbles. It was just, the sticks are really loose, and I kind of like a firm, not as loose stick, you know. Sound, music, you can copy this stuff if you want. I think high audio is really important. I think low audio gets you screwed over a lot. Even though the audio in this game is pretty miserable as it is, I think it's you know, it could be a lot better, but it's pretty bad. Whatever, just keep it on high. Low will just get you shot in your back. All this stuff's really basic stuff right here. Keybinds, I'll scroll through if you want my keybinds. I actually just optimized mine the other day, and I'm sure there's stuff that's not great, but I kind of want to mess around on keyboard a little bit more just for fun. So I just optimized these binds. A lot of them are like similar to Noah Riley's binds because I think I was told by Tabs that his are very optimal. This thing, I don't think this is like important at all, but if you want to look at it, you can. This is the most important section where I can explain my binds to you guys in true detail like I usually do. Maybe I'll full screen for a second for this. Here, I'm not gonna actually talk you guys through these. I'm just gonna scroll through them. If you guys need to pause, these are my combat controls, build controls. If you need to pause at any time, you can. Edit controls, ability controls, and dead zone. The reason I'm not going to go through these in detail like this is because it's really confusing based on what's on my paddles. All you guys need to know is what my paddles do and what my buttons on my controller do, and you combine them however you want if you do play the same way as me. I use a Scuf impact, and I always have really on Fortnite. I literally always have on Fortnite, except for when I played Xbox using the Elite controller. Scuf impact with 4 paddles. So from left to right, I jump with this paddle. I go like this. I hold my controller like this too. I use my middle finger for both of these paddles, and I use my middle finger and ring finger for my left hand. This is my left hand right here. So I jump with this button. I edit with this button, my inside left paddle. Inside right paddle, now it used to be switch mode. For the longest time, it was switch mode. And I can explain this maybe in a different video or maybe this video, why it's not switch mode anymore, why I use pickaxe on it now. Even though I do think this paddle is a great paddle, and I could end up switching that bind around in the future, like very shortly when I get fully used to these new binds that I'm on. Now it's pickaxe instead of switch mode, and this is confirm edit / crouch. I don't crouch on my right stick like a lot of people do. And the other bind I switched was this. My left stick used to be pickaxe, and now my left stick is no longer pickaxe. It is my switch mode bind, which I know a lot of good players use. I think Miro, Illust use it, and I think it's a really good bind in comparison to what I was doing before. Not that my binds were bad before, but I used to fat finger a lot, and that just means I only use my middle finger for these 2 binds. So I like kind of tap in between the 2 of them, and I kind of wiggle around. So what I would do is say here, I'll go to my main screen now, just to give you guys a good example of why I switch my binds to these. Obviously, it's already an in-depth settings video, but why not give you guys some more detail, because it's always better to be thorough. Okay, so my biggest issue with my old binds is I had, like I said, I had switch mode here on the inside, which is now my pickaxe. That's why it's slamming pickaxe. But it used to do this, pull up my builds, and it would also pull out your gun because you press your switch mode after you finish a series of edits. And I had confirm edit here, and I didn't want to play edit and release. What would happen very often is I would go like this. I would do it. Say there was a player, I don't know, say there's a player on the other side and I'm triple editing into a shot. My biggest thing would be I would press my build paddle to pull up my builds, and I would be whatever, I'd be editing. I'd have to confirm outside right again, and then outside right again. And then say I double it down. Outside right to confirm, outside right to confirm, place the builds. And then I would have to press my inside right to pull up my gun, which obviously is my pickaxe now, but it used to do this, pull up my gun. So I'd be pressing this repeatedly with my, like 5 times. If in that exact sequence, I'd be slamming this 5 times and then pressing that just while my hand's like this. And I used to fat finger it all the time, and I'd press it maybe 5 or 6 times or 4 times, or I would click the switch mode too early, and it would put me in a lot of sticky situations where I would end up getting killed because I wasn't pulling my gun out in close range fights. Like I would edit course someone, and just like I'd go like this. I'd have them in my box like that, and I just wouldn't pull my gun out. And now what I do, because I swapped my what used to be my pickaxe and switch mode is now my pickaxe and switch mode. My left stick is now switch mode. So now when I'm done slamming these edits, I can just press my left stick and it pulls my gun out. Hopefully that makes sense to all you guys. I think it will for the most part. It's just having too many binds on. Oh, the quote that I need to read. EDH, you gotta give me a second here. The quote that I need to read that is gonna help you guys out a ton when it comes to picking out your binds. And I mean, this is a genius quote. It really is. It was from my Twitch chat out of nowhere. And I know Twitch chat is not a great spot information knowledge. But this person came in when I was having a bind crisis, which I never do because I don't switch my binds. His name was Weckiest Berry, and he said, word for word, ideally sequential press should be on different hands. Second best is same hand, worst is same finger. So optimize using that hierarchy for the hardest mechanics in the game. So when it comes to something like editing, confirming edit, and switch mode, he's basically saying the worst thing you could do is have your binds, like 2 really important binds that you have to press back to back on the same finger. Like, for example, someone who plays claw might go like this, and they might slam this to edit all the time, and then they have to jump. Why would you do that when you could just add a paddle on your left hand, jump with your left hand, and then do that? Because I know one of my friends recently just switched their binds around because of that plays claw. So like, he's basically saying, like, to sum it up, if your binds are on the same finger and you have to press them sequentially, like repeatedly and fast, that is not super optimal. The next best thing you can do is get them on the same hand but a different finger. I switched a little bit ago and I already see the improvement in some situations. There's a lot less time when I have I used to like edit course someone and not pull my gun out. Now I more consistently have my gun out. I think it was a worthwhile switch. I think 5 months down the road, I will think this was a good decision. If not, I'll switch back. If I find something along the way that's different, I will always swap my binds to be more updated and more, you know, I'm willing to take the couple months hit of not being that good at the game to fix something that will help me out in the long run 2 years down the road. You know what I mean? I'm one of those players. Some people aren't. Some people, you know, play whatever binds you want. Some people aren't those type of players, but I definitely am that type of player who believes in themselves when it comes to switching binds. I think that's the main thing when you switch binds. It's like, you have to believe in yourself that you're truly going to improve, because if you don't, you'll end up playing worse. You'll have one of those days where you play like really bad on your new binds, and then you'll just you know, you'll go back, and that could end up hurting you. Those months that you switch binds and then go back were a huge waste, and it hurts your, you know. I am not one of those players. If I switch binds, I have a good reason for it, and I always stick with what I know, and that's how I am. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the settings video. I know it's super detailed, probably super long, probably super annoying. I know I'm talking a lot. It is my video. That's my job. If you have any more questions about anything you guys want to know, I mean, I'm always here. Always here to let you know. I'll let you know on my stream too. Feel free to stop on by. I think we're good. Peace.